Good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your Spider Stock Market Wrap-Up. And this wrap-up is for the evening as we're here now on Wednesday, the 21st of August, 2024. Well, it was a green day. All the stock markets came back. We had the news come out today of the payroll activity from April 2023 through March 2024. And they reduced the amount of jobs on this preliminary run by 812,000. So it's about 68,000 jobs a month less. It still leaves you in a pretty good average of about 174,000 a month. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that, what surprised me is there was no reaction in the market to it at all. First, the number came out late by about 30 minutes. Second, 3 banks got it on time. Nobody else did. I wonder what that was about. At least I'm reading about that right now. GM up today. Ford up today. Ford's cutting back on SVs. In other words, the vehicles, EV is really what I meant to say. The electronic vehicles that they're doing, moving more to hybrid, backing away, pushing back some production. This hit is going to cost them on their production line and other money, they say upwards of $1.5 billion. Must be a good reason why they're cutting back. But I'm going to repeat, America just hasn't embraced the electronic vehicle because of pricing. I think if the price came down, and I mean down, you'd get a lot of people very interested. But we still have the problem that as much as the Biden administration likes to talk about EV, tell me what the U.S. has done for the networks. If you drive across the country and where you get off and where you charge your car, it is still in America a big issue. So those are the things that are going there. Uranium up another 9 cents. So our idea here that the market had first a bear market rally to the 18-day average and then is able to stay over it a bit, that's looking a little better for that market. Amazon back up to the 180 level. You can see that Netflix down $1.40 today. Schwab trying to reduce something in their banking. What people don't understand is Schwab makes about half its money off the money that you put with them. Yeah, the banking business. And that's because interest on money is worth so much. When you've got as much money as they have under their Schwab management, if you will, that's a lot of money coming in. The question they have to do is how do they make it more profitable? It's never an easy task. I don't know if they're up to it or not, to be honest. In the metal markets, well, the miners were up a little bit as the gold market fell back, but I don't think either of these say very much about what's going. For those of you that get my futures market research, I'm sure your eyes opened when I explained what's going on in copper today. I did this last night, and I was shook when I saw it, and I understand why the copper market has come back to where it's at. So let's look at some of the charts and see what we've got. First in GM. Any way that you want to cut it, this is like a market that found the bottom, you let it go, and it went the other way. Does it belong there? I don't know if it does or doesn't. I know that when you get a vertical price drop and you come back like this, you'll run out of steam generally in this area of about 50% to 2/3 retracement of it. So I'd be a little bit cautious. The pattern is certainly bullish, higher lows, higher highs. Your overall, the key moving averages, and the market has defeated the 200-day average. It fought it 3 days ago, and then for the past, actually 4 days ago, it went right to it, and for the past 3 days, it has stayed over it. So the market's been able to overcome that. What it probably won't overcome is getting up to the upper Bollinger Band resistance, which would be around, another 60, 70 cents higher. So keep your eye on that. And what are we doing? Well, if you can stay like this, you might develop an embedded reading. But right now, you have an overbought market situation where we're going to go into the markets tomorrow looking at PMIs on the service and manufacturing, and then we open up Friday morning with Jackson Hole. Now, how will the Fed look at this loss of 812,000 numbers? Well, if you really study what it was and you read the notes, and I highlight that in tonight's report for my commodity people, I think you have to say that you had no unanimity. It was not a unanimous vote in terms of what the Fed members thought. They went with the Fed chair. They didn't fight him on that. But a number of members, they don't say exactly how much, they use the word several, wanted to move now. But in the spirit of we'll do everything together, you get the vote and you move where you're at. This coming meeting is going to be very different, and I think this 812,000 reduction seals the fate that you get a quarter-point move at least. It could be more if we get weak PMIs, CPIs, and a weak jobs report at the first week of September, and it could go to nothing. You got to remember that. If all of a sudden the jobs report were super strong, if all of a sudden CPI and PPIs picked up, but I don't expect that. So I think the debate will be a quarter to a half point. The weakness of the numbers coming up, and that's what I think is going to happen, will dictate which one of those two. I think trying to bet on which one it is now, no, it doesn't make any sense to do so. Rivian, I think you're going to see professional money come into the market at 1226 to 1214. They'll just say, hey, we've been there, we've done that, this is a good support area in the market, and I want to own the stock thinking at some point it can get back up here, and I'm just going to buy a bit of it and hold on. That's what I think is going to happen. This is a real auto company. It's a real van company. They're having issues as they've changed their production method, as they're bringing out new cars, as you know, as they're going on, and they've run into a supply issue with the Amazon trucks. They'll get behind that, but that's why you're coming down. When you look at CrowdStrike, I think you got to bet on the management of this company. It's that simple. Their product is great. It's not a good product. It's a really good product. Did they blow it with an update that caused all this? Absolutely. Will they do it again? Probably not. Are they getting beyond it? They are. So I think you're looking at a low point in the market. I could say that I can make arguments that if the market wanted to keep going, maybe the 318 level is the ultimate resistance, but the 200's in front of that and the Bollinger Band. But on good breaks, especially back towards the 18-day average, if we had some sideways action, I might get interested in that. In uranium, this is your first move over the 18-day average. You're quickly getting into areas here that are overbought. Any reading on slow stochastics, the way that I teach it in my enhanced Bollinger Band course, is overbought. So I can make an argument that the worst is behind the market. It would take a lot to get back down there again. Even the Bollinger Band will start climbing and protect that low. So something going on, and I think that's good, and it's the first time I'll turn my attention to it. In Dell, well, again, it's sort of like uranium. You had the washout, the market's got back over this right through here, and the market has seen probably the worst behind this. But we're all going to be waiting for a week from today when the NVIDIA earnings come out. Are the big boys still buying all these chips? Is the race still on, and how does that work? What's going to happen is, companies will invest. They have to get a return, then they'll keep investing. But at some point, the word is at some point, NVIDIA's leadership in terms of the chip market will get hacked away as other chip makers really develop products, and the ones that can compete in some degree with NVIDIA. I didn't say they'll compete with it head on just yet, because there's a big lead that NVIDIA has, but they'll chip away at the outer surfaces of it. And Dell is saying, okay, it looks to me at least like this is a leading manufacturer of computers that use those chips. Looks to me like if you can get over these recent highs, you can make an argument to get back to 1986. If you fall, you've got big support now between 106.85, the 200-day average in gray, and the 18-day average at 103.50. Is the market overbought? Absolutely. When overbought, do I tell clients to deploy new money? No. Linn, Toll Brothers, the home builders are starting to see traffic pick up. Why? Have you looked at what interest rates are doing? Tomorrow's Thursday. We'll probably hear from Freddie Mac, and I think you'll see interest rates may have even cracked the 6.5% level for mortgages. We'll see if that does it. But Toll Brothers was talking about the increased traffic and signed contracts that they're getting. So backlog coming in. But remember, Toll Brothers isn't Linn. you've got to look at the high end. People have the money, they're making commitments. The average guy on the street does even qualify for the loan is number one. Number two, you've got to get the mortgage rates down. And number three, home prices aren't falling. Now, we're dealing new homes when you're talking these companies, so keep that in mind. And tomorrow you get existing home sales. You can see the home builders have come alive. If interest rates fall, why wouldn't they? We know there's pent-up demand. In the financial services, I still like this, but it is a bit overbought. The market's pulled back a little bit. It might be able to get one more rally into it that gets it up to a Bollinger Band. A lot's going to depend on the PMIs tomorrow and the speech that we get from Fed Chair Powell at 9 o'clock Central Time on Friday morning when he heads up the symposium in Jackson Hole. In XLI, the industrial sector, this has defied all the numbers that have come out. The market's ahead of what industry is doing. All we keep seeing is, be it a KC number, whatever, they're terrible that they've come out so far. We'll see if that picks up. But what is the market saying? It's saying that at lower interest rates, which the real market is seeing. Just because the Fed hasn't cut doesn't mean real rates aren't falling. They are. And as you're seeing that in the auction results and so on, this is helping industry come back to life. On the energy sector, I do not see any movement happening between Israel and Hamas. And in the energy sector, the people that refine and so on, well, prices of energy is coming down. This is that funny time of year when you don't need as much air conditioning. You don't drive as much. You know, your end of the summer driving is probably taking place for most people. They're getting the kids ready to go back to school. It's a whole different game. You know, September's right around the corner now. In fact, my wife was bringing up, what are we doing, she said, today for Labor Day? Interesting. I said, well, you're the one that makes the plans. By the way, right now, she's at Union Park, and if you read what's going on with the DNC, that is where the protesters all form. It's where the city allows it to occur. And she said it's pretty wild. She's taking pictures. She thinks she's a photojournalist now. She goes through all these transitions. Higher lows, higher highs, looking at where the market's at now as it approaches GLD getting up there. I'm still friendly. I think gold is still going to $2,600. I think it's very important to keep that in mind, especially as interest rates fall and as the dollar falls. Silver won't be far behind, making a move to the upside. But do you buy Bollinger Bands? I don't think so. I think you wait. And I do have my subscribers that are in the ETFs. They are long a unit of gold. In the copper market, again, I told the story about copper, and I think you can see what's going on there from it. Then we look at bonds and notes. Well, you know that as long as interest rates keep falling, and take a look tonight at where you're at in the 10-year note, you're going to be shocked. You cracked the 3.8 level. Now, dollar index falling is what? As the Fed's making this move, dollar down. I've been predicting that you might go to the parity level in the dollar, 100 on the index. Let's see if it can get there. And last FXE gaining on the dollar as it should in all this. So you put this together, you've got a heck of a move going on that becomes a lot of fun in some of these markets. We're going to talk about this and write about it in detail. The Linn Group covers the grains, the meats, the metal markets, the interest rates, the soft commodities. We write about all this, we put it together, we do special reports, and if you go to our website under the free offers to sign up for this, also get the chart of the day, their price counts. You want to see what it is. We are pros. Take a look at what we write on the markets. Maybe it gives you some ideas. You go to iraepstein.com, free offers, or move your cursor to the top here. That's another way to do it. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great evening. I'll catch up with you all first thing in the morning. Take care now.